Say yes every day to the world and to your heart. Open up your eyes and let your spirit start. Say yes to the dreams you hold inside. Let your soul be your
Thank
guide.
you for joining us today for another episode of Wednesday Wisdom. Today, we are joined by the incredible Paula Huhn. She is the corporate trainer and a branch manager at Absolute Home Mortgage. Paula, thank you so much for joining us, and we cannot wait to hear your insights. Okay, on Wednesday Wisdom, we do a little bit of the past, then the present, and then we go into the future. So, taking us back, where we'd like to start is please share with us a piece of advice that you learned, whether it was something you read or something that someone said to you, that you really took to heart and applied to your life.
Well, I had to really think hard about this question because I get little sages of advice all over the place and I don't always remember where they come from. And I read so much. And, and that's one of my big goals, to continue to read. So really a lot of the advice I get is from the books that I read. And probably my favorite thing would have to be in the book called The Go-Giver by Bob Berg. And in it goes over these 5 principles of becoming a true go-giver. And it's funny because I read the book and I'm reading it. I'm like, wow, this is me. This is what I do. I do number 1. I do number 2. I do number 3. It got to I think it was number 4, where it was like, you have to be open to receive. And that clicked so much because I'm like, oh, I'm so focused on filling other people's cups with my cup, not my saucer, that I forget to get the things that people give to me, like to accept them as being deserving of them, accept them as this is what I really needed. And ever since I kind of took that to heart and opened my eyes and opened my heart to be able to receive those things that, quite frankly, if you are following that practice of being a go-giver, you do deserve, because you give so much. I'm seeing other opportunities.
Wow. So number 1, awesome book. Great book. I've read that book. It's a wonderful book. And before we started recording, I even made a comment to you that I said to you, it's interesting. I've been doing podcasts since 2019. And I said that at first I started it because I was thinking, oh, what is something that I could give, right? What can I give to others to spotlight them? Kind of exactly what you just said. But I mentioned to you that I've realized how much I receive by listening to the insights of the people that come in and share. And you just nailed it. You just hit it, of the whole thing that I too can totally relate. That in my mind, all I keep thinking about is, what can I give? What can I give? What can I give? And I don't ever think that I deserve to receive.
Right.
My God. So now I need to know. Keep going. How do you take that and apply it to your present life? So now you've seen these opportunities. How are you applying it?
So it's almost like you have to be open to being, I hate the word greedy, but you have to be okay with the idea that you're allowed to want things. And so I've opened up that idea to myself and saying, I look at my why, and I look at where I am now, and I look at the things that I want to accomplish. And before, I would always try my goals to be circled around other people. And now I'm learning it's okay that my personal goals are personal to me. It's okay that they're centered around myself. No matter what the goal is, whether it's a dollar amount that you want to earn, a trip you want to take, how even helping others helps us as well. And you have to have that goal of what am I going to get out of it? And it's okay to want something out of this stuff, out of the things that we do. It's okay to want something, because you are alive as well. And if you're not focused on yourself, like the big thing now is like self-care and self-love and things like that. And it's very true. If you're not focused on yourself, you can't be focused on other people. You're not going to be truly focused on other people. You're going to be burnt out. You're going to, it's going to be harder for you to honestly be humble, because there's going to be something in the back of your mind that always says, oh, you don't deserve it, or it just, there's always going to be these roadblocks. So when you push that stuff away and you actually focus on yourself, and I did this for the past 2 years, if I had the best 2 years of my life, to be honest with you. I mean, last year was, thank you. Last year was hard and I didn't make as much, but my accomplishments last year were so high because I stuck with it. I was open to receiving things like opportunities, advice. And funny enough, that's when the senior corporate trainer position opened up. And since I was open to receiving something like that, like it was there,
Wow.
and if I wasn't a little bit selfish or a little bit self-aware of what I needed or wanted, I never would have seen it. Or it would have been like, oh, would it be great if I had that?
Right. Well, you get a little bit of resentment, right?
Yes.
So if you're always in this give, which of course you are, and I know you are, then at some point it might be like, wait a minute, when is it time for me to receive something here, right? Like I keep giving, but I'm not on the other side of it. But yet I almost equate it to the little angel and the little devil on our shoulder, right? So it's kind of like the little angel's going, great job, you've been giving, and the little devil's going, but what about me? What about over here, right? And am I selfish for wanting to receive something, right? Like maybe the whole gift should just be the fact that I'm giving, right? Which it is. It absolutely is. But there has to be a balance, right?
Right. Like you can't give with the expectation that you deserve something.
Right.
But you have to, so it's not that, and it tells it in the book. But the trick is to be open to receive what you get, because what you get, and this is something really important to understand as well. What you get is not going to be exactly what you think you need.
Correct.
Ever. But they're going to be separate. And that is a concept you can hear in every single book. Like almost every book that I can think of reading, like they kind of point to that out of, any opportunity to lead to something else can lead to your bigger goal.
Yeah, it is so interesting, right? That, and I was saying this to you too, that yesterday I was having a conversation where I said the majority of people, if you ask them what they would like their life to look like 5 years from now, they can't answer it. They have no idea even what that is, right? Now, on the flip side of that, even if we said, oh, well, I want this, I'm looking for this, and this. This is a concept that kind of blew my mind. And I read this in a book where they said, how can you technically know all the details of where you'll be, let's say 5 or 10 years from now, when you haven't ran across the people that were supposed to come into your life yet? You haven't actually learned the lessons that haven't happened yet. So technically, you can't have an exact picture, and you can't necessarily say, I want, this is what I'm looking for, down to the T, because you haven't experienced those things yet. It's like, you have to go through lessons. You have to have certain people come into your life. You have to make certain steps forward before you can know what that picture looks like. So to your point, it's not going to be a granular exactly this, because there's no way to predict that future. And it could be so much better if you just open up.
Right. And I don't want to jump the gun here, but like getting to some advice that I would have for other people is exactly that. It's, I was making a training on building a business plan. I was telling you about that. And as I was writing it, you have to have your mission. You have to, which if you don't know, your mission is where you're at right now, like in theory, like what you want to accomplish, like right now, where are you at right now? What can you do right now? I look at that as like a car. And then your vision is where you're going. That's your destination. And whenever you're looking at where to go, you're looking at a map. And there's 100 different routes that you can go that will get you where you want. But you're going to miss those opportunities that'll get you where you want. You're going to miss those shortcuts. You're going to miss the bridges. You're going to miss the, the free rides sometimes to get to where you want if you don't even know where you're going,
Right.
if you don't have some sort of concept. So you're right. Like, don't be so detailed of, I'm going to be this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Super duper detailed, but have a general idea of where you want to go, and then create your values, and that I think is always the missing piece of having your values, your core belief systems that you live by every single day. It's almost like affirmations.
Give an example. Give an example of a couple of those, Paula.
So my creed, so it's either a creed or values, depending on who you talk to.
Okay.
And I actually have my own for my own business. And it's to live with integrity, do my business with integrity every single day. Always be honest, stay up to date with communication, stay up to date with market trends.
Okay.
It's these values that you live with, that I'm going to be knowledgeable in the business that I'm at. I'm going to be a person that someone can come to, and I'm going to actively listen to them every single day, so I know exactly how to best help them. It's those types of values that you hold dear that's going to help you get where you need to go, because you should, every time let's say you're making phone calls, right? So we're loan officers, we have to make phone calls. And if you have call reluctance, if you just don't want to make the phone calls, you should be saying those values every single day, reminding yourself of what you're there for, so that you can easily do it. Anytime if you run a team, your team members should be able to roll off your values off the tongue. Oh, we do this and this. You say them before every single meeting, because that's going to, number one, connect you all. That's going to connect yourself. It's going to connect yourself to your vision. It's going to connect yourself to your mission. And that is the glue that holds it all together. It's the gas that gets you there, is your values. And if you
what do you think holds people back from doing it? Because I'm totally with you. I totally agree with it. But we both know the majority of people do not do it. Now, it sounds so simple. It sounds like a plan, right? Like, to your point, you have to at least know a direction you're going, right? You don't have to have the concrete details. To your point, you could be going in a squiggly line. You could be taking a pit stop. You could be bringing more people into your car, right, as you're going on your trip.
Exactly.
I mean, all of that.
There's a lot of people, I think, what holds people back from making those big decisions, or viewing it, or being open to receiving, or, to even making these little plans that we keep telling people, like even finding your mission, is one, education. They don't know they should. If you're a W-2 employee, if you're not self-employed, if you don't have your own business, the last thing you would ever have done is research your own personal vision, mission, and values, because you work for a company. And you feel, and society tells us that your vision, mission, and values are your company's vision, mission, and values. Right. Yeah. And that's not, they should be aligned. You should work someplace that is aligned with your mission, vision, and values. Because if they don't align, you might not be in the right place, because you're constantly going to be fighting each other. I think so. Knowing that they should be doing this in any job, in any profession, you should have your own personal mission, vision, and values. So if you're waiting for permission, I'm giving you permission to do that right now. So
and it's a great time. Here we are in a brand new year. We're at the beginning. This is the start of, again, having that roadmap of where you are going, and even, involving the family, right? Listen, I know, using an example of myself, when, my God, I can't believe this is literally the 8th year that I'm spending the winter in Arizona. When we made that decision 9 years ago, I said to my husband, I kind of see us spending the winter in Arizona. What do you think? Does that sound like a good roadmap to follow? I have no idea how we're going to pull it off. We'll figure it out. Somehow I'll figure this out, right? But we had to kind of collectively, as a family, decide, is that the direction we want to go? And then, does it align with everything else, right? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But to that point, it's for you as an individual, and kind of you as a family too, with your partner.
And I think another thing that holds people back from doing these things, goal setting and things like that, is literally just, they don't know how, and they look at things as someone else is going to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I think the entrepreneurial feel in our lives, I think that needs to be more encouraged at a younger age,
Right.
so that people can, so the younger generation of future loan officers, real estate agents, and sales professionals understand, like, this is no joke. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. It's not, hey, I'm just gonna, deals are gonna fall in my lap. Like, you have to have plans. You have to know. And then the final thing is, and this I think is important. It brings me back to that first thing I was talking about. Like, it's okay to be greedy. Like, it's okay to, like, if you're setting a mission, it's okay to want the things you want, and it's okay for things to be centered around you. It's okay to release a little bit from giving so much to other people. Continue to do that. But it's okay to have that circle around you. You know what I mean? Like, you're allowed to be the center of your own universe. It's you. You should be the center of your universe.
Hey, that's why you're on this earth at this moment in this time. Right. You wouldn't be here at this exact moment at this time if you weren't supposed to be here receiving, right? You're giving and receiving. Otherwise, maybe you weren't born yet, or maybe it would have been another time, but you're here for a particular reason. My goodness, Paula, we went pretty deep. This was really great because it gave so much to think about. So much to think about. And you did give permission. I know you actually said, I'm giving you permission, but you get permission in many ways. You get permission to actually say, no, I also am okay, and it's acceptable for me to receive as much as I give. And it's okay for me to be the center of my universe, to make it so that I am the best me at this moment in time, because then I could be even better for everything else that I do. And it's okay to be greedy, and bringing this to the youngest generation, to the school-age children of that entrepreneurial spirit, because regardless of where they wind up in their careers, understanding that and having that as a basic foundation will always help them throughout their lives. And that's for us to provide. It's for us to teach and give that back.
Oh, 100%. I'm going to find a better word than greedy.
I know that's one of those. That's one of those.
Yeah, like, it has such a bad connotation to it. But that's the word we have for right now.
That's right. Well, thank you, Paula, for all of your insights and your wisdom. Thank you for sharing it with all of us, and keep shining brightly, my friend.
Thank you, Laura, for having me. This was wonderful.